Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. You guys have seen the video title. Yes, this is the split comma designed by Vahit of Bade Modern Designs, and this was actually handed over to me by Roy of RP Innovation Singapore. And I will cut straight to the chase. This is a quick look on the very cool looking split comma. This is clearly a bar spinner, and what I have in my hand I want to make clear to everyone is a prototype. Yes, it was rushed out just so that I could be doing a review on it. So I really want to thank Vahit and Roy for rushing everything just so they could get it in my hands, then I could spend a week with it and then share my thoughts with everyone, especially with Vahit as well. So first of all, it looks very signature Vahit style. This is so Bade Modern Designs. You can see by all the crazy nuances that it has all over. It's got these raised edges on the forearms out here that help to throw the weights outwards, and the slot in between kind of gives it a pseudo forearm spinner kind of thing. And of course, this is a brushed finish, but I've been told that there is possibly going to be a mirror polish finish available for purchase. So if it goes on retail and if there's going to be a mirror polish finish, I think this is going to be even more beautiful than what it is right now. I mean, I do have to admit, design is very subjective, but I personally find it quite cool. So apart from the way it looks, this thing is really nicely made. It is well rounded with two hard edges here on each side of the arm. But these hard edges are not sharp at all. You can see that it also has been rounded. I think it's due to the brushing as well. But look at it all over. It's just angled cuts, some chamfers here and there, and just rounded goodness all over. So this, right off the bat, is really comfortable to hold in hand. And yes, it is a R188 spinner, and it has the very standard bearing retention system. And let me just pop the buttons off for you so you can see. Yep, there we go. It is a bearing retention system, so that means it's going to be really easy for anyone who wants to swap the bearing out. Now, I don't know what bearing it has in this one, but it is stainless steel, obviously. And these slots, you guys can see it's not cut through all the way. So for those of you who want to kind of personalize your spin a little bit more, you could also consider filling these up with some glow epoxy or something, you know. But I actually enjoy the way it looks with the buttons on, just like that, because it looks like the slot actually stems from the middle. That's a really cool look, right? Now, before I put on the other button hub, I want to just mention that this cut over here, this is really comfortable. It's not a 90-degree cut, so this is really comfortable, especially when I'm performing preloaded flicks, because you see right there. But I'll get into fidgetability in a while. Let me just continue talking about the cosmetics of this. Now, with the buttons on, because of this angled cut over here, you actually have a very cool looking space in between the button and the spinner frame itself. So when you spin it, it really looks like two separate pieces moving. It's really cool. This illusion is just something else. And that reflection, very matte, very full, very nice. Gives it a very solid feel, you know what I mean? Like really solid looking. Now, let's talk about the buttons, okay? The buttons have this very interesting design on the outside, but I have gave Vahit my feedback and I mentioned to him that I think it's a little bit too sharp. You could actually feel it kind of biting into your skin once you actually hold it. Yes, even though the cuts don't go all the way out to the angled edge here, but you can still feel it, especially on the meat of your fingers, unless you're using a pinch grip. But for this button, you can see that there are steps going inwards, but it's not that deep. So it's kind of shallow for you to hold in a pinch grip as well. So it was something that I shared with Vahit, and he told me that he was going to improve on buttons, and I believe that the outer lip of the final button is going to be solid. So no complaints there whatsoever. That is the main gripe that I had about this spinner. Alright, now let's talk about the fidgetability. I know this is going really fast, but man, you guys, I just wanted to share this with you because there's going to be more information that Vahit and Roy will be sharing, because right now, I don't even know the price of this. I don't even know the finalized weight. I don't even know the finalized finish. I don't even know the finalized buttons on this. But what I do know is that this thing is really fidgetable if I don't have these cuts on the buttons. And let's be fair. And so, to be fair, I will put on buttons that I used on this guy when I had it for a week. Well, not for an entire week. I spent the first 3 days with the stock buttons, and then I spent the next 4 days with these, the stock buttons from the Atrium spinner. These are, in my opinion, pretty close to the actual buttons that are going to be featured on the split comma. Of course, it's going to be different, but these are kind of close because they have an outer lip like that, a deep concave, and a step on the inside. But of course, it's going to be multiple steps on the finalized buttons. But this guys, when having it this way, man, let me tell you, this is super fidgetable. At first, when I saw the design, I was like, how fidgetable is this thing gonna be? Because, you know, it's all 3D renders, and 3D renders usually have very pronounced edges when you look at it, right? But this is just so comfortable. It's comfort all over. So, performing preloaded flicks, like I mentioned to you guys, because of this angle here, pulling back, even if your finger is sitting right in that groove, is not gonna hurt you at all whatsoever. Because not only is it an angled cut going upwards, it is also really rounded. See that? super rounded, super comfortable. What can I say? Also, after hanging out with Michael Rush as well as Faiz, I realized that for Michael, he does preloaded flicks out here. He reaches out much further than I do usually or generally. And so I'm gonna address that as well when I'm talking about fidgeting with spinners. Yeah, you guys can see I'm actually not really used to performing preloaded flicks this way, but I just wanted to make sure that I could show it to you guys. Reaching out here is not a problem at all because this raised area right here, that gives you a very nice resting spot and also some grip for you to start your preload flick like that. That is just awesome. I mean, wow, it's just really comfortable, you know. Preloaded flicks on this guy is just super comfortable. Of course, not to mention forward flicks is not an issue at all. Yeah, I mean, this notch here doesn't really hug your finger like some other spinners do, but then again, it is a very classic kind of groove reminiscent of the stubby. You can see that it's a big groove out here, right? So it's actually really comfortable for you to land your finger in here and you have some space to play with, but at the same time when you're pushing forward or you're pulling back, you actually have some real estate on the side for you to start your flick or regenerate your flick. Or you could kind of use it as like a flipper, you know, like a flipper tab. Yep. So of course, this way is good, fidgeting with the fourth finger, and this way, of course, no problems at all as well. And then now we're going to change it up into the middle finger and thumb grip, and pullbacks on the upper edge is definitely not a problem. It's push forwards because it's kind of difficult for you to kind of push forward when you have a finger up here on the upper edge. But if you have your finger on the inside groove, pulling back and pushing forward is not going to be a problem. And the spinner is actually of a pretty comfortable size. It's not easy for you or not common basically that you will knock your finger like that because it's not too long. And I like that. It's really comfortable. And I can actually feel this groove as well when I'm pulling back. And this is actually pretty good. This is quite the fidgeter. I really enjoy this. This is a really comfortable spinner. Even just to hold, it's really comfortable. Good job, Vahit. Good job. So yes, this is actually pretty darn fidgetable. Even if you do jib jab style, yes, shout out to Anthony Kova. Jib jab style, jib jab, forward, back, or what have you. This is pretty darn fidgetable. But of course, it is a bar spinner, so it will easily be affected by the gyroscopic effect. Do not forget that, okay? Now, size comparison for you guys. This is the split karma against a stubby. And you can see that it is taller than a stubby. However, it is slightly narrower than a stubby. Look at that. Very slightly narrower. I know you can't really see it on camera. How am I going to show this to you guys? Alright, so let's see if I do it this way. I can barely show it to you guys, but it's just slightly narrower than a stubby. Take my word for it, okay? Take my word for it. And actually, it is a little bit thicker. So all in all, it's actually a very comfortable, fidgetable size. Now, earlier on, I mentioned about this notch. So just have a look at the stubby's notch. Yep, it doesn't really hug your finger, but it gives you enough space to move up and down. And this is actually a lot more comfortable than the stubby in terms of having a wall or something for you to rest your finger against. Stubby, of course, it's really smooth, but out here, you actually have these edges right here, the flipper tabs or these angled walls, and I dig that a lot. Also, I want to mention that I was able to hit about, on average, 4.5 minutes on a two-handed table spin each time I spun this little baby. And hitting 4.5 minutes comes as no surprise because just look at the design. This is made to have slightly longer spins. It's not a spin time champion, of course. It's not going to hit you like 6 or 7 minutes. Maybe it could if you have a nice, good, cleaned out bearing, maybe. But for me, I'm averaging about 4.5 minutes. Please understand that the bearing in this spinner is the very same one that was in it when it was handed over to me. So I did not swap it out. But that sound, guys. That sound. Not a lot of spinners can get this sound, and I really love this sound. The only other recent spinner, well, I would say recent because, you know, it's kind of like in the recent times, that is able to get a sound like this is the Tungsten Quasar XL. You actually have a whirring sound as well as a high-pitched ringing sound coming from the bearing. And I just find this sound super soothing. Even when you talk it side to side. I'm gonna swap the buttons back out into the stock buttons, okay? So everyone, I don't have a price point. I don't know what other materials this will ever be offered in. I don't know the exact weight of it. And I know that the buttons have to be improved on. And I also do not know what the final finish this spinner is gonna be offered in. So based on just having this guy on me for a week, fidgeting, not knowing what it costs, not knowing the price point and everything, I like this spinner. I think it is a good spinner. I think it's solidly made. Design-wise, of course, like I said, it is subjective. I think it looks pretty cool. I could totally see Meads filling this up with his glow rubber bands, you know, the way he twists it into a pretzel and just shoves it in there. Dude, your innovation ideas is just really cool, man. Shoutouts to Meads. You guys already know him. I mean, his channel is way more subscribed than mine, so I don't even think I need to introduce him at all. All in all, based on that, I would say this is a very well made spinner. The only downside is that I don't like these buttons because of its sharpness out here, but since that's going to be fixed, I don't think there's any other gripe that I have that I want to complain about. So you know what guys, as always, links in the video description down below. I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the split karma is a spinner for you. Of course, I don't have that much information, but go visit those links. I'll put a link to the Bade Modern Designs Facebook page. I believe that that's where all the information will be disseminated to everyone. And also, I'll link over to RP Innovations if I can find the link. But I mean, everyone knows Roy, so that's not going to be an issue. And that's about it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support and sticking all the way throughout. But I do apologize for not having more information about the split karma. I wish I did, but that's all I have right now. But I really wanted to give you guys a quick look, and I want to thank Vahit and Roy again for granting me that opportunity to do so. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch y'all in the next slice of my life. Gaga Boost!